So now we'll talk about water homeostasis. Water homeostasis. Water homeostasis has to do with water balance. So it involves the adjustment of the intake and excretion of fluid. Now, for there to be water balance, the consumption and excretion of water has to balance. It has to balance out. So that means the amount of water consumption in a day is this almost the same amount that should be excreted for there to be balance. And so this water balance is determined by or regulated by the amount that is consumed and the amount that is excreted. So for water consumption or water intake, that is controlled by test. It is controlled by test and and the amount of water in any diet or any meal that is consumed by any individual. So we'll look at it. Now, water makes up the largest component of the body. So that means for any individual who has a particular body weight, water makes up the larger percentage of the body weight of that individual. For example, in a neonate is a baby that is 0 to 28 years days old. Now, in a neonate, the water makes up approximately 75% of the body weight of a neonate. So when you carry a baby and the baby feels you feel the weight of that neonate, 75% of that body weight is made up of water. However, as the individual grows older, the water composition begins to decrease. For example, in a young adult, in a young adult, the 60% of the body weight of a young adult is made up of water, while in maybe approximately 50-year-old individual, 50% of the body weight of that individual is made up of water. Now, water in the body is distributed throughout the various body fluid compartments. So it's not only um, water that is found in the blood that is found in the body. So the body is made up of two main compartments. You have the intracellular compartment and you have the extracellular compartment. Water is distributed between the intracellular compartment and the extracellular compartment of the individual. So with that, we could conveniently say that an individual who has an average weight of 70 kg, the body of that individual is made up of about 42 liters of water, both the water in the intracellular compartment and the water in the extracellular compartment. So now, of these 42 liters in an average 70 kg adult, 28 liters of of the 42 liters is found in the intracellular compartment, and that makes up two-thirds of the water volume. So that means the two-thirds of the body water is found in the intracellular compartment, while the remaining one-third, which is about 2.8 liters, the remaining one-third, which is about 14 liters, sorry, the remaining one-third, which is about 14 liters, is found in the extracellular compartment. Now, intracellular compartment is intracellular. That means all the body water that is found anywhere within a cell. So that means within the inside of a cell, all the cells in the body, all the water found in all the cells in the body put together make up the water you find in the intracellular compartment. However, the extracellular compartment is made up of interstitial fluid, is made up of the plasma. So you have the plasma and the interstitial fluid that is in the extracellular compartment. Now, the plasma is the fluid that is found inside the blood vessels, out that the blood cells are bathing in. So you see, when you draw blood and the blood cells, you see that blood is made up of blood cells and plasma. that plasma compartment, that is the fluid outside of the cells inside the blood vessel, that is known as plasma. And plasma makes up about 2.8 liters. It makes up about 2.8 liters of the fluid in the extracellular compartment, while in the other compartment is the interstitial fluid, which makes up 11.2 liters. Remember that we said that the extracellular compartment is 14 liters. Out of the 14 liters, interstitial fluid makes up 11.2 liters, while the plasma fluid makes up 2.8 liters. Now, what are the interstitial fluid? Interstitial fluid are other fluid that other body cells that the body cells flow in or bathe in. And this part of this interstitial fluid include the lymph, lymph, the lymph fluid. Now, the fluid in the lymphs, in the lymph, in the lymphatic system. So that's that. So you see that even the fluid in the gastrointestinal tract, for example, you have fluid in the GIT, all those ones are part of the what make up the um extracellular fluid. They all make up the extracellular fluid. Plasma is also known as the intravascular fluid. The plasma fluid is also known as the intravascular fluid. So both the intravascular fluid and the or interstitial fluid, they both make up the extracellular fluid, while the intracellular fluid or the fluids in the intracellular compartment are the fluids that are within or inside of the cells of the body. So now, for an individual to effectively maintain water balance, that individual, the amount of water the individual has consumed must equal the amount of water that the individual has lost. With that, you can say that there is effective water balance. And so, for an individual to maintain water balance, there's water that the individual consumes from food, and then there's also water that are produced within the body, which are the metabolic water, or water from oxidation. That means the water that is generated from within the body as a result of different reactions that are taking place in the body. But this water from food and the water from the um, metabolic activities, water that is formed as a byproduct from metabolic activities in the body, is not sufficient to sustain the water intake or the water need for the body. So there is need for an individual to also keep drinking water. So that means an individual gets water from food, from end product of metabolic activities in the body, or byproduct of water metabolic activities in the body. An individual can also get water from drinking water itself. So these are sources where an individual can get water. While sources through where an individual can lose water or excrete water is from the respiratory tract, from the skin. When you say respiratory tract, from exhaling, then from the skin through sweating, from the gastrointestinal tract, maybe through stooling, through passing out stool, and also from the kidney. But of all this, the kidney is the major source of water excretion. So while the major source of water consumption is from drinking water, the major source of water excretion or route of water excretion is from the kidney through the urine.